So I just walked up on this little eastern box turtle here. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the Black Hat Bushcraft channel. You have any words for our friends and subscribers here on YouTube? No? Not too happy about your premiere here, huh? I guess the pay doesn't make it worth your while. I'll let you be so you can enjoy all this mud. We've had a ton of rainfall, so no doubt as to why this guy is out and about. See you another time, buddy. Hello and welcome to the Black Hat Bushcraft channel. I'm out here today in between rainstorms. We've had rain for roughly 4 days straight, and we're supposed to get rain within a matter of hours, if not less. And I wanted to take this quick window of opportunity to come out in the woods and practice the skill of water disinfection. I was at the Pathfinder School basic class this past weekend, and part of that class is teaching water disinfection. So it was on my mind, and I wanted to come out and just practice the skill a little bit today while I had the chance. I can remember one time when I was a kid helping my granddad water plants around his yard and in his garden. And I can remember he used to get a bucket full of water, and he would strategically pour that water on each plant as to not waste it or have overspray. And I remember I picked up the water hose and I just started spraying the plants. I said, "Papa, wouldn't this be much easier?" And he said, "Don't do that." And I said, "Why?" I said, "Water's endless. You can just spray all day." He said, "That's not true. We're on a well, and sometimes in the heat of the summer, the water table would get low during drought periods, and his well obviously could get dry." But he also said to me, "Water is the liquid of life, and we should never take it for granted." And I never forgot those words. That was his exact words. Water is the liquid of life, and we should never take it for granted. And as a woodsman, being out here in the woods, that is very, very true, and it rings back to me his words. Because being out here in the woods, if you can't acquire water, you can't stay very long. Because it's hard to carry a lot of water because it's very heavy and it's cumbersome. So being in the woods, you need to understand how to acquire and disinfect and make safe to drink water. So that's what I wanted to practice today, bring you guys along. I want to talk about two methods: one, filtration, and number two, boiling to disinfect. I've got a little creek back here that's holding water. Since the water table's really high, it doesn't always hold water, but we're going to collect some water today and go through that disinfection process. Stick with me, let's get started. As you can see, I'm carrying the full-size Grayl water bottle filter with me today. And in my opinion, this is the very best of filtration that a woodsman can get. Not only will the Grayl filter out bacteria and protozoans from your water, but it will also filter out viruses, which is something that definitely not all commercial water filters are capable of doing. And in addition to the best of filtration, you have a convenient unit that can collect your water, disinfect, and carry water with you in the field, and you can simply consume that water right from this one container. So it's a very convenient water filter, and again, the best that you can get, in my opinion. All right, so I'm going to use my Grayl to collect water from this raw source here, and this really is nothing more than runoff rainwater. And this is the chamber where your filtered water goes in that you drink from. This is the actual filter here, which is replaceable. But this container here is what I'm going to collect my water with. I'm going to carefully try to collect with as little sediment as I can. However, I'm not going to worry about that too much. As you can see, there's all kinds of stuff down in this water. And right now I could simply put the Grayl in place and filter out this water. But every piece of equipment that we carry, every resource we have, whenever we use it, we're expending that resource. This filter will only filter a certain amount of water. And the more dirty that water is that you filter, the less filter life you'll get from this. So in order of conserving my filter, I'm going to pre-filter this water to get this sediment, straw and dirt and things like that out of. So let's take a look at that. What I have here is just a heavy cotton canvas cloth bag, and this particular one is one that I made, hand sewed for myself, and this will serve as a pre-filter. This is much better than using, say, a thin bandana to filter your water. This will filter out more particulates, things like dirt, sediment, leaves, grass, those types of things. By doing that, I am definitely conserving my commercial water filter, allowing the Grayl to only filter out things like bacteria, protozoa, viruses, chemicals, things like that, instead of having to filter out coarse sediment like dirt, those types of particulates. So this does a great job of being a pre-filter. This again does not make your water safe to drink. It's only removing things that are not palatable from the water, and again conserving your water filter. This type of device is available commercially. There's one made by my friend Rupert Brown of Brown's Bushcraft. He makes what's called the brown bag. I'll put a link down below where you can purchase that. I've handled those bags, used them. They're really good quality kit. I actually need to add one to my kit, hope to do so very soon, but in the meantime I just have this one that works for me as well. There's also British mill bank bags which you can get a hold of. They're probably harder to find and to source, but they are out there and available. So the first step to using this is I'm going to wet it down so that way that the water will start to seep through the tightly woven fibers, and I'm going to let gravity do the work. I'm going to hang this up here on my tripod. I'm just going to pour the water out of that Grayl cup here, and it will slowly start to drip through, and again the cotton will filter out all the particulates. Let's get that done. That should do it. What I'm going to do is let that first little bit of water leak through. I'm going to collect some more, then we'll come back and actually collect from the mill bank bag. So what I'm doing is I'm just flushing out the bag just a little bit, then I'm going to collect some more water, and then when I run that through, I'll actually collect it for filtration. Now that my water has been pre-filtered, I can run it through the Grayl filtration system, and all I'm going to do is open up this little nozzle here so the air can escape, and simply push the water through into the inner chamber. And as I'm pushing down, that's filtering the water, or pushing the water through the actual filter device, and now it has filled up, and that is safe, clean drinking water. Tastes delicious. And honestly, a lot of times when I'm in a city environment and I'm using, municipal water, it has a lot of chlorine or a bad flavor to it, I'll filter that water through my Grayl, and it makes it just so much better. Basically like drinking bottled water from the store, which is what a lot of bottled water is anyway. Unless you're buying spring water, you're just buying filtered water anyhow. So it's definitely a good thing to keep with you, whether you're in the woods or in the city. All right, so what I have here is just my little titanium bush pot. This is the newer model from Self-Reliance Outfitters. You've seen me use this before if you've watched the videos. Sit here, it's a really cool little pot. It's like the perfect solo pot. It's nice and lightweight. What I have in here is the Firebox Nano Stove, and I'm going to use that today with some dry standing wood to boil my water. I would make a fire on the ground, but it is sopping wet out here, so it's just not ideal. But this little stove will do a nice job, and what this will do is render all the bacteria, viruses, protozoa, any of those things that might be in this water that I collected from the raw source that you saw already. So make sure that those things are dead and rendered inactive. So I'm going to get some fuel processed to fill up the stove, and we'll boil some water. This will give me some fuel for the Firebox Nano. Here we go. That should do the job. And I'm using my PKS Kepar XL. review coming on that before too long. All right, let's get the fire going. All right, let's get this bad boy loaded up with some fuel. Hopefully I won't need much more than this. I may have to add a little along the way, and that's okay. It's a cool little stove. It's pretty lightweight. This is the stainless version. So there is a titanium that's a little lighter, but this works well. Now, here in my fire kit, I have some material that's going to help me get this started. I have some mini infernos. And these things are awesome when you really need to get a fire going. And in the case that I was needing to disinfect water in a quick amount of time, I would not mess around. I wouldn't be hunting for natural materials. If I really need that water, I'm gonna make this happen. So I'm gonna use that today. And I'm also gonna use a new piece of equipment, which I've only fiddled with a little bit, and that is the Exo-Tac Fire Rod. You'll notice that I'm mentioning a lot of different pieces of gear because I've added some things to my kit lately, and so anytime you add new gear to your kit, you need to test it out. So this little Exo-Tac Fire Rod seems like an awesome companion fire rod to like a 6" by 1/2" version. So I'm going to use half of that down in here, just like this. Go ahead and use the whole thing. And let's see if I can ignite that with this ferro rod. No problem. That should serve to get the fire going pretty well. I like this little unit. It's cool because the ferro rod is replaceable. So you can buy replacements if you use up your ferro rod. But you also have up top an emergency tinder here inside this little waterproof capsule, and that's O-ring sealed. I really like that. It's nice to know that in an emergency you've got something that you can ignite with those sparks. So a neat little EDC unit, so to speak, or a backup. If you carry a ferro rod on your knife sheath, something like that, that would be a perfect one for that purpose. We'll leave a little space at the top for the rolling boil. And now we wait. So in the couple of times I've used this Firebox Nano, what I'm finding is it's very efficient where it comes to fuel. This is the original load of fuel that I put in it, and I believe that's going to be enough to get this water boiled. What I also notice is it does a great job of letting the fire breathe from the bottom down here. It just feeds oxygen in very well. And on a day like today where I don't want to deal with getting a fire going in this mud, this is a great option. And I didn't have to collect up a lot of materials, as you could see. And also being so hot out here, the last thing I want to do is sit by a hot fire and wait for that to go out and so forth. This is just a much more simple, energy efficient option. So I really like this piece of kit for boiling water, especially in the hot season. I think this is a great option. All right, so I think we're good here. Oh yeah, if you look at that water, it's rolling from the bottom up. That's what you want to see when you're disinfecting water. You don't want just some bubbles on the side. You want to see that stuff churning like that. Once you see that, you know that this water is safe to drink from a biological standpoint. Any viruses, bacteria, protozoa that might have been in that water, that stuff is all dead at this point. Once this water cools off to the point that we can actually consume it, then we can work on hydrating. So that's what you're looking for, is that rolling boil, just like that. This water should be good to go. Alright, so at this time I've created water that was safe to drink in two separate ways. The first way with a pre-filter of cotton cloth and then filtration through the Grayl filter. The second being that I filtered it through that cotton cloth and then boiled it to disinfect it and kill all of the biological contaminants that might have been in that water. If you want to know what's the absolute safest method to disinfect water, the most surefire way that you can achieve in the field, filter your water first with the 2-stage filtration process. Pour the water from the Grayl into your pot and boil it. And that is probably the most surefire way. So if you're really wanting to make sure that your water is safe to consume, run it through and get the big particulates out with cotton cloth or with like the brown bag or the Millbank bag. Filter it through a Grayl, a Sawyer Mini, or some type of microfiltration, and then boil it. And at that is about as safe as any water that you can consume off the landscape from a raw source in the field. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know there's been nothing super exciting or technical herein, but I do believe this is a very essential skill and one that's definitely worth practicing. A lot of times we may carry with us filtration equipment into the field, or we discuss collecting water off the landscape and disinfecting it, but to actually get out and practice those skills and using that equipment, that will take you to the next level. These are definitely skills that are worth practicing so that if you ever really need it and have to depend on it, you'll have those skills down. Just in case you're interested in any of the equipment or gear that you see me using within this video, I'll provide you with some links down below in the description box. I have a Self-Reliance Outfitters account where most of the items that you've seen me use today can be found. There's also an Amazon link for my Amazon storefront, and there's also an Exo-Tac link, which I am an Exo-Tac affiliate. So any support that you provide by purchasing through those links, I greatly appreciate it. And I know for sure that the equipment that I recommend are items that I have tested myself, I would trust my life to, and I believe that you can too. Thank you again for your interest and your support. I look forward to talking to you with another video again very soon. And until that one, take care and God bless.